Hi there, welcome to Concepts, Trends, and Tailoring for Project Integration Management. Now, we call this CTT, Concepts, Trends, Tailoring, get it? So when you think about concepts of integration management, it's important that you look at integration as a different type of animal. It's a little bit different from other areas, but there are a few landmarks that you need to remember to really get down the concepts. First of all, the developed project charter process sets the tone in helping us understand those due dates. Yes, it's not a schedule, but these due dates for the product, service, or result have to be understood. Very important here is we create a project management plan to be able to follow that plan and achieve our objectives. It's also very important in integration to see this as where we create the appropriate project knowledge and where we govern what happens to that knowledge. Not only are we trying to integrate within the project benefits confines, but we see this knowledge as being used in other projects somewhere else in the organization and other areas of the organization as a whole. Now, it's also very important in integration management that you think about us making integrated decisions. A lot of knowledge areas come together in monitor and control project work. A lot of knowledge areas are funneled through change requests into perform integrated change control. That's why we call this integration. It's all integrated. All these knowledge areas are integrated through integration. This is where we look at data as being funneled into a process, of course, after going through monitoring and controlling. But that work performance data from direct and managed project work funneled into monitoring and controlling processes, it comes back reborn. That data comes back reborn as work performance information. This is a big concept of integration. And through that, we create our work performance reports. So all that data has been processed. All the implications of the data has now come back. We see it in a work performance report. That's what makes integration so important. And also, when we think about integration, think about managing the transitions to phases, phase to phase. You know, we talk about close, project, or phase. Why? Because we're managing the transition from phase to phase A to B, B to C. Now, I'm not saying every single project follows this, but this is a major concept. Let's talk about the T's, the trends, emergent practices, and integration management. Well, a big one is use of automated tools. We talk about the project management information system. People don't see that strange anymore. Before, you would go to a firm and talk about using automated tools for projects, and people wouldn't really understand what the relevance was. In fact, for my master's degree, I wrote a paper on the barriers to implementing project management systems. And the turnout was very, very primitive, very, very low feedback, because people hadn't conceived that. But now is definitely a trend, definitely. The use of visual tools, for project management is big. The whole idea about knowledge management is no longer new. People know that lessons learned must be collected. And also the project manager's responsibilities are no longer just regulated to being the paper pusher. It's also about making certain decisions. The project manager should also be involved in the business case in some firms. And also the whole idea about benefits management is a very important trend that you need to understand, because before people would do projects because they had budget, but not anymore. Projects are undertaken to fulfill real needs to deliver a benefit. So the project manager's job now is also delivering those benefits. And now a lot of PMs are going into the world of Agile and Scrum. And for that reason, people's minds have been open to the whole idea about hybridizing project management. We call that hybrid methodologies. Also a very important one to understand. How do you tailor this stuff? Well, the whole idea about tailoring is cutting your coat according to your size, right? Cutting the PMO's cloth according to its size in different firms. So I don't expect you to throw the whole kitchen sink of integration at every single project, but I do expect you to consider a few things like, what is the project lifecycle for this project? What should our project lifecycle phases consist of? what is our development life cycle? What project management approaches are best for this project? Is it agile? Is it Scrum? Is it test-driven development? Whatever it is. Regarding knowledge, how is knowledge going to be managed in the project? How do we make it a collaborative work environment? How do we get the best from people knowledge-wise? How do we get people to interact? How do we get them to network? These are some of the things you should consider. How are we going to manage change on the project? How are we going to manage the area of governance, or has that already been talked about previously? Maybe the company has very good project governance methods, and that has already been discussed. But when you're tailoring, also think about lessons learned. We don't want to just gather anything, but we want it to be meaningful lessons learned that can be used on future projects. And last but not least, we want to talk about benefits. How do we report on benefits, be they tangible or intangible, whether it's in the middle of the project or at the end of the project? How do we do that? Lastly, I would like project managers to consider agile possibilities. It is important that you consider that agile is here to stay. It's not going away. We've got iterative and agile approaches that could be absorbed by the project manager. So I'm posing a challenge to you. After studying for the PMP exam or the CAPM exam, how about going a level above, thinking about studying more agile? I'm not even saying take the ACP exam, but I'm saying just study a little bit more agile to be more dangerous and intentional in hybridizing methodologies. And that concludes our CTTs for integration management.